Welcome to OWAD today. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Welcome to week 2 review. And we have been talking about similar looking Chinese characters, how they may or may not relate to each other. And now I'm going to put everything in a in a wrap instead of waiting for the end of the year, right? Let's do a weekly wrap. So it helps us to refresh what we talked about in this week. Soil. 土. Okay, I intentionally leave a gap there for you to try to recall the pronunciation of it. And honestly, pronunciation really is not my focus for the whole program. Because pronunciation is probably more arbitrary versus the connection between meaning and how things look here. As a logographical language, Chinese has this unique feature of how it looks to how it makes sense with the world. It can go as deep as like Chinese ancient wisdom, worldview, philosophy. So that's all I'm trying to unpack here. What you see is really like one of the best ancient civilizations' effort to abstract the 4D world we're living in into a 2D frame. Okay, so here I'm using a color-coded way to show you, okay, this fuzzy looking thing in a kind of a brownish color is the ground. And even if we see horizontal vertical lines, they actually depict different pictures for us. This first horizontal line is the ground, and the second one is actually an indicator. It's an abstract thing. It's like the attention pointer. It does not exist in the real world. So that's the tough part for a new learner. Even for me as a Chinese learner, I just learn how things is written and what's the meaning, map everything by root memory. It doesn't help. However, I'm trying to help you memorize things by making sense of how things are drawn out. Okay, so here, now we know the two lines are not the same thing. And then the vertical line is the abstraction of plant, a generic one. Similar looking thing, right? But it means sir. Pronounced as 是. And it's from 1 and 10. And as we know, that number 10, this horizontal line is actually an abstraction. And of course, this 1 is abstraction as well. But Chinese abstract 1 as one horizontal line, that's somehow kind of associated with the meaning, right? Just one horizontal line. And here is 1 and a 10 stacking up together. And actually, Chinese is a first-person perspective framework, meaning we as the viewer and the user of this language are standing at the bottom of this frame, looking from this direction outward. So 1 at the bottom doesn't mean heaven, sky, or the origin of the world collapse to the bottom. No, it means we start from 1. 1 is closer to us. And then we develop, we grow ourselves to become 10. And when you're full grown, mostly man in historical context, then you become a sir. Okay, so the second line as number 10 is the rope knotting technology to signify that's a number 10. Okay, here, do. This essential verb, action verb, so universal in every language, right? And as far as I know, probably every language would have this generic action word. It doesn't specify what exactly you're doing, but just say do, right? English make it super simple. 1 consonant plus 1 vowel. That's do. You cannot be simpler than that. Any easier, right? Versus Chinese is 3 strokes. I would say it's besides 1 and 10, and that's 1 and 2 strokes, we don't have much more simpler capacity than 3-stroke thing here. And this is pronounced as gan. And it has another meaning. Means gan, means dry. different pronunciation, different meaning comes from different sources and maps to different traditional Chinese as well. But here we're doing just action word. And over here, this second horizontal line is the indicator, indicating of defense of this top line. That's kind of a heavily environmental pressure going downward, and you're trying to defend yourself against such oppression or attack. So this do starts from self-defense almost. And this horizontal line, second horizontal line, well, we can say it's actually a realistic depiction of a shield. But if the top line is this heavenly force against you, or your fate against you, as abstract as that, then the second horizontal line gotta be something pretty abstract as well, as you're kind of going against, you're exerting your own self-agency against the odds of life throwing at you, basically. Okay, Wang, ruler. Okay, this got a ground at the ground level finally, so there's no confusion over there. The top simply is the visual cue of who is the top leader of this clan with this decorated staff. So I'm using this air staff shape. Then Jade, it looks almost exactly the same as Wang, except with this dot. And that dot, of course, was not existing in real world, even in a historical context. It came in almost similar shapes, except the middle horizontal line where that landed. And for the efficiency and the accuracy of communication, eventually people say, oh, well, it's so much trouble to just micromanage this one horizontal line positioned just slightly up the midpoint versus at the exact midpoint. That's so easy to make things lost. And also because Wang is the ruler, right? The ruler doesn't want anybody else to look like the ruler. It has to be singular, right? So the ruler obviously made Jade differentiate itself, excuse itself to be something else by adding this one dot. Okay, Cai. Now this one have the earth or the ground level at the midpoint, and then this is the plant as well. And the diagonal line is this indicator, indicating the root part. That's how Chinese show you the potential to become a fully grown, tall tree or long-lived, massive, magnificent tree. Before then, the potential is held in the root, the deeply rooted plant. That's how Chinese use the plant analogy for talent, how people develop. We have the potential, and then we may or may not realize that, right? Okay, so there we go. The whole slew of second week lookalikes, and some of them are related, some are not. And here to make it easier for you, okay, this is a pronunciation if you're trying to memorize as a study, but here is me drawing out where the ground is, this brown color, and where the abstract line is. That's not existing in real world, but it's indicator or attention drawer or symbols simply. It's an abstract thing or concept thing. And this extra dot, what I call as a differentiator, simply because this jade looks too much like the ruler. Ruler not happy with that. All right, so the theme of the week 2 is simply from soil to talent. We associate the talent from the soil. Only when you're deeply rooted and you're able to grow your full potential out from that deep rooted in the soil plant, then you can become somebody like a big, like sequoia tree or something like that, right? So don't waste your talent. All of us have. Thank you for your time. See you another day.